So I am really excited. I'm really excited today about all the things that happened in this day, beginning with really fabulous dreams, a fabulous meditation, one in the morning and one in the evening, or one in the middle of the day, and then some wonderful client conversations, which I have so many manifestations happening with my clients, so many wonderful stories to tell. I have a literal backlog of stories to share with you all. I once said in my journal, in my Positively Focused blog, that there are so many manifestations occurring in my life, I could write a story about them almost like 5 times a day. I can't do that, obviously, because I want to enjoy the unfoldings. I want to enjoy the magnificence of everything that's happening. And so I can only share but a fraction of what's going on in my life with my YouTube viewers. As we move this more toward everything that I'm doing into YouTube from my blog at positivelyfocused.co, I'll probably be sharing more. But I can tell you, coming down the pike, there are going to be some really cool things on this channel. The one thing I want to talk about today is time, and how, in order to realize happiness in one's life, we have to let go of knowing when something's going to happen and snap into what I call divine timing. That's the process by which everything is happening and all that is. And the only thing that keeps divine timing from being instantaneous is the resistance that we have about the things we desire. And the stronger we desire something, or the stronger we think we desire something, the longer it usually takes to manifest. I say the stronger we think we desire something because most people don't know what desire actually feels like. Desire doesn't feel like a strong yearning for the thing you want to manifest. Desire actually feels like what it feels like to have the thing that you want, which means you're not thinking about it at all. And it is in that state of being that manifestations can happen near instantly. But since most of us, myself included, have a lot of resistance on subjects that are really important to us, manifestations of that sort tend to take a long time. Sometimes they can take decades. Sometimes they can take lifetimes. Meanwhile, the things that we don't have a strong desire about, desire in the distorted way I described before, those things happen very, very fast. So it's clear, if you look at the past manifestations you've produced in your life, assuming that you are doing something like the positively focused practice where you're focusing on manifestations, you can see that the little things that you desire tend to happen quick. That's because you don't have a strong yearning, which is resisting the allowing, which is allowing the thing you want to show up, or actually the thing you're not thinking about to show up. That's why they show up so quickly, is because you're not putting a lot of resistance on the path by thinking that you're desiring it, when in fact you're focusing on the absence of it. That's a subject I'm going to talk over and over about, especially in the more formal scripted productions that are going to be coming down the pike here. So one thing that I'm noticing is, with regard to the passing of time, as I soothe myself more and more, is the lack of needing to rush. There are so many instances in my life these days where I'm recognizing how soothed I feel and how easy life unfolds as I move more in tune with divine timing instead of the human timing that has us rushing around everywhere. One of the things I've noticed this occurring around is not having a car. It's been about 10 years since I've had a car, and I noticed that every place that I want to get to, I can get to easily either by walking or riding my bike. And as a result of that, I don't feel the stress of car ownership. And I notice that people who have cars tend to be people who need to get places, they think, very, very quickly, or they've agreed to certain life conditions that require them being at certain places at certain times, like jobs, for example. And so it's easy to get into this space where you're rushing everywhere and feeling tense and stressed. I know I was there once when I owned a car and had a job. And it's interesting. There was a movie, I think it's called Out of Time or In Time, with Justin Timberlake, and he is in a science fiction future where everyone's lives are measured by a certain amount of time, I believe, and they, rather than spending money, they spend time, like minutes and hours and seconds. And there's a particular part of this civilization where the rich people are, and the rich people there, they have so much time that they don't rush around. And at one point in the movie, Justin Timberlake, the character that Justin Timberlake plays, goes into that part of this civilization. I think he goes there to save someone. And when he's there, a waitress notices him. And when she walks up to him and says, "You're not from here, are you?" He goes, "How did you know?" And she says, "Because you're rushing. And people in this part of the civilization, they don't rush." I found that to be a very interesting story, part of that movie. It really struck a chord in me, how much I was rushing and how stressed out I was because I felt I was running out of time. But now, as I found alignment with the divine timing by which all things are happening, I find myself very much relaxed and eased into my life experience. And as the more I do that, the more I ease into that life experience, the more wonderful things start showing up for me. For example, this evening, I went over to the new branch, a new branch of the local library system. They had their grand opening over the weekend, and this was right after my last client. And when I walked in there, I was blown away at the beautiful design of this building, oriented toward a future library where there weren't many books there, but there were lots of places to sit and contemplate or read or do work. There were places where kids could hang out. There were workstations where people could get work done. There were even printers, acknowledging that most people these days don't have printers, and so the library is offering free printing up to 100 pages a day. And when I went to this place, what shocked me was it's only 5 minutes walk from where I live, which is exactly the distance that my community center where I work out is. Both are 5 minutes walk away. And I realized that I feel so blessed because this apartment that I live in was a manifestation. I had a dream where I was moving through the block that this apartment is in. This dream was years ago. And back then, whenever I dreamt about a place in Portland, I would go to Portland to see if I could, after the dream, I would go to Portland to see if I could kind of like resonate with the energy of that dream. And in this dream, or after this dream, I came to this block where this apartment is, and I tried to understand why I had dreamt about that location, that specific block. Years later, after my divorce, after I had moved out of my wife's house into a rental house and then decided that I wanted to live alone again, because in the rental house I was living with other people, it was so magical how I found this apartment. And when I realized that this apartment, when I came to visit it and realized that it was on the block that I had dreamt about, I knew that this was divine timing. And this apartment, it's small, it's cozy, but it's perfect for me. It has everything that I need, the price is right, and it's within walking distance of everything that I enjoy. So my point of all of this is, in this daily journal, is how blessed I feel. Blessed to be 5 minutes away from a beautiful library where I can use as a third place and do my video editing. Not that I don't love doing the video editing here. My apartment is perfect for that, and my workstation is gorgeous. I live 5 minutes from the place where I work out, and over there I have plenty of friends that I enjoy talking with when I meet them. I'm 5 minutes walk from the apartment I dreamt about a few weeks ago that I will probably be moving into sometime this year. And I'm only a 20-minute walk or a 10-minute bike ride from the grocery store. I'm living the blessed life, the charmed life that I talk about, and it's all because of my alignment, my focus on wanting to live from the state that is my eternal being, not my human being. And as a result of that orientation, I'm finding more and more life is matching that vibration, and that match shows up as a life in which everything I want is available to me, close to effortlessly. All right, that's it for tonight. I want to keep this short. I'm trying to keep all of these short, but sometimes they go a little long. See you next time.